ऑनलाइन आवाज आ रही है? There was some problem logging in here. Yes. Okay. Now, चलो till the others join. ये होमवर्क का कॉल का वैल्यू क्या आया था? कितना? 79.41 एंड अच्छा कॉल का वैल्यू निकाला, पुट का निकाला 65। एक मिनट रुको, देखो हम चालू क्या करते हैं. अगेन आई एम जस्ट सॉल्विंग इट इन रफ. करंट मार्केट प्राइस is present value upon 12 into 3 of future expected values, that is 2600 PU plus 2300 1 minus PU, right? And current market price is 2450 equals to 0.06 divided by 4 plus 1 upon 1.015 into 300 PU plus 2300. इसको सॉल्व करें. 2450 into 1.015 minus 2300 divided by 300. 0.6225 probability. PU 0.6225, तो इसको 0.62 ले लेता हूं मैं. PD 0.38, ठीक है. And value of call with strike price 2470 on expiry. If stock price goes up to 2600, it will be 130 into 0.62. So 130 into 0.62, that is 80.6. If stock price goes down to 2300, value of call on expiry 80.60. Therefore, value of call today is 80.60 into 1 upon 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 into 3. So 0.06 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by into 80.6, 79.41. Or value of put, this is P plus S is equals to C plus PV of X. चलो एक काम करते हैं, वैल्यू ऑफ पुट ना इंडिपेंडेंटली निकालते हैं. वैल्यू ऑफ पुट with strike price 2470 on expiry. If stock price goes up to 2600, 0 into 0.62. If stock price goes down to 2300, 170 into 0.38. So 170 into 0.38, 64.6. So value of put on expiry 64.6. Therefore, value of put today 1.015, 1 divided by into 64.6, 63.64. सिक्सटी 62.9 वो आएगा, ये राउंडिंग ऑफ की वजह से। चलो लास्ट कौन सा प्रॉब्लम किया था हमने, आगे बढ़ते हैं इसमें। Let's look at question 29. Now consider a 2-year American call. Now ये American call क्या होता है? So let's first discuss this. And India में कौन सा options trade होता है? See, American call मैं लिखाऊंगा इसको. American call or American option is an option which can be exercised by the buyer any time before and up to the expiry. It can be exercised. Whereas European options can be exercised only on the due date, expiry date. Now, see, what do we mean by exercise? Supposing ये exercise के time पे होता क्या है? देखो, let's say on the first day an option trade is initiated by Mr. A, buys, let's say a call, ठीक है, और इसका प्रीमियम 10 रुपया पे करता है ये, and he buys it from Mr. B. ठीक है, फिर अगला दिन ये कॉल का भाव जो है वो 12 रुपीज हो जाता है, तो मिस्टर ए क्या करता है? मिस्टर ए सेल्स द कॉल, वो ट्रेड कर लेता है, राइट? सो मिस्टर ए सेल्स and Mr. C buys. Right? Now let's say the next day this call goes up to 20, so Mr. C sells and Mr. D buys. And let us presume that ये expiry पे है. So this was, let's say, a call with a strike price of 100 and expiry के दिन market price इसका जो current market price of stock is 120. तो ये जो call है ये in the money expire हो रहा होगा. अच्छा, now these were all taking place before the expire. Now see, Mr. A buys the call at 10 rupees. फिर अगले दिन ये कॉल का भाव 12 rupees हुआ. Now if the call has moved up to 12 rupees, that means what would have happened to the stock price? It would have also moved up. So the stock price moved up and this has moved up. Okay, that means Mr. C, sorry, we can say Mr. A, he had purchased the call at 10 rupees and now that call is trading at 12 rupees. That means this call is a profitable call, right to buy at 100 and the market price has gone up. That means technically speaking, Mr. A could have exercised the call, right? So now, let's say A wants to exercise the call. Remember, this is not the expiry date. This is on 1st Jan, this is on 1st Feb, and this is on 31st March. 31st March is the expiry, right? Now, on 1st Jan, Mr. A buys the call at 10 and the next day, 1st Feb, it goes to 12, right? Now, technically speaking, Mr. A could have exercised the call. Now, let us say वो किसके पास जाके call exercise करेगा? To whom will he go, Mr. A? To Mr. B. Now, on 1st Feb, when Mr. A goes to Mr. B and says, boss, look, I have a right to purchase this stock at 100 and the stock price has gone up. I want to exercise this call. Mr. B will tell, no, not today. You can't come to me today. You can come to me only on the expiry because this is a European option. Right? So now Mr. A will say, but then what do I do with this call? I have a right to buy at 100 and right now it is profitable. So Mr. B will say, boss, it's trading in the market. No, go and sell it. किसी और को बेच दो तुम, पर मेरे पास मत आना. बी के पास कब जा सकता है ए? एक्सपायरी के दिन. Not in between that, because the option is not exercisable. It is tradable, but it is not exercisable. Right? Okay. Now, look at the last day. Mr. D buys it at 20 and Mr. C sells. And let's say this is on 1st March. And on 31st March, this option is valued at 50 rupees. Now understand the sequence of events. A purchased it at 10. He sold it at 12. So 2 rupee profit A took. Acha. Then C buys it at 12 and C sells it at what? Let's say 20. Right? That means 8 rupees profit C took. Now D is holding this option at 20 rupees. And 31st March, on the expiry date, this option is valued at 50 rupees. Now, on 31st March, D will want to exercise this option because this option is profitable. So D goes to B. Now understand, D will go to whom? Because understand, A purchased, A sold. C purchased, C sold. अब position किसके पास खड़ा है? Who's the buyer and who's the seller now? D is the buyer. D is the seller. Right? So technically, if D wanted to exercise, D will have to go to B. Right? So let's say D goes to B and says, I want to exercise, give me the shares. B क्या बोलेगा? ऐसे shares वैस नहीं देंगे. Square off होगा. The transaction will be squared off. Right? Okay. Now, let's look at this position. Here is Mr. D and here is Mr. B. Right? Now, Mr. D has purchased call at 20. Just let us presume this is a ledger account. And B has sold call at 10. है ना? यही हुआ? अच्छा. Now, on the expiry, when D exercises this option, stock exchange क्या करेगा? Stock exchange D और B को आमने सामने खड़ा कर देगा. Settle करो. Right? Now, settlement cannot happen by delivery. It has to be done with a square off transaction. Now, D का क्या position है? What position has D got? Purchased. That means उसका एक sale contract enter किया जाएगा. Right? So that means D is selling last day. But if D is selling, someone has to buy. Who will buy? Okay. And this transaction will be entered at what price? 50. Right? ये रहा profit loss. इसका तो 40 rupees loss हो गया. इसका 30 rupee profit हुआ. Now you'll say, sir, this doesn't match. Of course it matches. इसका total 40 नुकसान है. Right? Out of which 30 profit is taken by D. 10 रुपया तो पूरा गांव लेके गया ना. Right? Now, the thing is, if you notice, in this case, the option was tradable, but it was not exercisable. Buyer and seller को stock exchange आमने सामने नहीं खड़ा कराएगा till the expiry date. Whereas if this was an American option, right? Any day that the buyer wanted to exercise, the stock exchange will bring the seller on the table and say, was settled. Right? Now here, you have to understand the difference. Who has an unlimited loss and who has a limited profit? B has an unlimited loss, right? And the buyers all have profits. Okay. But in case of European option, if I'm a seller and let us say I have sold an option on 1st January, so maybe on 2nd January, it is incurring a loss. Maybe on 3rd January, it is incurring a loss, but I don't need to panic. Why? Because buyer is not going to exercise. It is going to be traded in the market. Let it trade, no? Because I know till 31st March, ये नीचे आ जाएगा. तब तक market में trade हो रहा है ना, होने दो. Now just imagine this. You purchase a flat with a 10-year view. ठीक है, 1 करोड़ में फ्लैट खरीदते हो with a view that after 10 years this flat will be worth 50 crores. Okay, so you purchase the flat. Now after you purchase the flats start trading in that area at 80 lakhs, 70 lakhs, 60 lakhs. Should you be worried? You will say, जाने दो ना, अभी जो भी होने दो, 10th year में देखेंगे ना. Right? Similarly, here, once you have sold the option, as a seller, you don't need to worry about what is happening right now. As long as you know that was expiry के दिन सब सही हो जाएगा. But one thing you have to keep in mind is every time this option will be traded at a higher price. Remember, I'm talking from the seller's point of view. Every time this option is trading at a higher price, मतलब आपका loss हो रहा है, right? उसका mark to market margin आपको pay करना पड़ेगा. Your position will be mark to market, no? उसका margin देना पड़ेगा, which means as a seller, you may have a view कि 31st March तक ये हो जाएगा. But to be in the battlefield till 31st March, you need to have deep pockets. वरना क्या होगा? Let us say you sold an option at 10 rupees. अगला दिन that option is trading at 12. There is a mark to market loss. Broker आपसे पैसा मांगेगा. Mark to market margin. आपको 2 रुपया देना पड़ेगा. Next day again it trades at 50. 3 रुपया और margin. Now remember, आपका जेब खाली. Next day again it goes up to 20. Broker फिर margin मांगेगा. आप बोलोगे, sir, I don't have margin. Square off my position. Right? Now you sold the option at 10. You will square it off at 20. ठीक है? जैसे ही आपने square off कर दिया, उसके बाद option का भाव नीचे आने लगा. And by 31st March, the option price is 4 rupees. Which means you were right in your view. But still you made loss. The reason is you did not have the pockets to do that. Okay, so when I say that in European option, the exercise can only happen on the due date. Before that, the options will be traded. Whereas in an American option, any time the option becomes profitable for the buyer will come and exercise it. Which means, now tell me, which is more dangerous from the market perspective, American or European? American, because American option is a ticking time bomb. वो आपके नीचे कभी भी पड़ सकता है. If you are a seller and you've sold it, you can't sit back and relax saying that like in this case, B can just sit back and relax fully knowing that जो भी buyer होगा वो मेरे पास 31st March को ही आ पाएगा. Right? लेकिन in an American option, you can sit back and relax because whenever the option becomes profitable, the buyer will come and exercise. Right? Now, if we really, let me see whether my trading, this thing allows me to log in right now. It should actually, let me see. अरे यार इसमें पासवर्ड स्टोर नहीं होगा. एक मिनट. हाँ, इंडिया में यही दिखाना चाहता हूँ मैं. रुको. Let me just see whether, because I don't remember the trading password यार. वो लैपटॉप से करता हूँ तो उसी में स्टोर रहता है. Let's see whether this Just 1 minute. Oh. Now you see this. This is the disclosure which comes. 9 out of 10 individual traders in equity futures and option segment incur net losses. That's the trading ratio, right? On an average, loss makers registered net trading loss close to 50,000. ये average है. Peak और low देखेंगे तो कुछ भलता ही रहेगा. एक मिनट रुको. Not now. Now let us say, हाँ ये देखो. If you can see the screen, this is Nifty 19800 का call. Right? You see this? What is written here? CE. What does CE mean? Call European. CE is call European. Now, even if I take a stock, let us say SBI. और यार इसी में कॉल SBI 580 P. SBI ये देखो 580 यार क्यों नहीं आता है. If you see this, I wish I could take the screen out. ये यहाँ पे भी देखो आपको स्क्रीन पे दिखेगा. Not able to. You see that October 23 580 PE. You can see the 1 minute. I'll just you see that SBI IN October 23 580 PE. 580 is the strike price. So this is a put with a strike price of 580 expiring October 23. Trading at 10 rupees 25 paisa right now. So India mein the options which are traded are European options. These are European options, which means it can be exercised only on that day. American options, the reason American options are American option has got nothing to do with America. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि यूएस में अमेरिकन ऑप्शन ट्रेड होता है. यूएस में भी यूरोपियन ऑप्शंस ही ट्रेड होता है. American option is just a name given to classify this, but generally speaking, there are very little, I think, very less number of countries where American options are traded. In none of the developed countries, American options are traded. The reason is American options are very dangerous, so that they have a tendency to make the market very volatile. कि कभी भी प्रॉफिट होगा वो एक्सरसाइज करने लग जाएगा वो तो. Right? So generally, American options are not traded very frequently in worldwide. It's always Europeans. Right? Okay, so you've seen Indian markets, European options are traded. Okay. Now, 1 minute. What was the underlying stock price here? 580. Right? आज क्या तारीख है? What is today? 20. 17. 580, 17, 580. Chances are there is a roughly about 60 to 70% probability that if we sell this option, कौन सा वाला? ये वाला. ये 520 वाला जो sorry 580 put, if we sell it, मेरे हिसाब से 60 to 70% chances are we'll make money, because I don't think the stock price will go, SBI will go above 580 in another how many days? No, today is what? 17, another 6 days, but 6 days में there will be 4 trading sessions. मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ये 580 के ऊपर जाएगा. which means this option with a strike price of 580, put with a strike price of 580 is likely to expire out of the money. Which means what will be its value on expiry? और अभी क्या value है? 10 rupees 25 paisa. Sell it. Sell it at 10 rupees 25 paisa. It will become zero. Pocket that 10 rupees and get out. Because I don't think another 4 trading sessions, looking at the way the market has been behaving, kal to niche hi tha, right? I don't think in another 4 trading session, SBI stock will move by 580, above 580. I don't think so. But anyway, later on we'll see that making money. But only thing is, to sell this option, if I do a sell and I put lot, see one lot is 1,500, okay? So if I put one lot, required funds, I don't know whether you can see it, it is 1,53,086 to sell one lot. Here, required funds 153,086 to sell one lot of 1,500 shares. But then, even if, the same thing if I wanted to buy it, required fund for one lot, see, 15,375, which is basically nothing but the premium multiplied by the lot, 150, 1,500. So उतना ही चाहिए. Jitna premium है, premium multiplied by this. But to sell it, you need 1,53,000. But even if you sell it at 1,53,000 and presume that you make 10 rupee profit, right? 10 rupees on a 1,500 lot, 15,000, right? What's your return? 1,500 lot है और 10 रुपया में अगर बेचते हो और ये जीरो हो जाता है तो you'll make 1,500 into 10, 15,000 profit on your investment of 1,53,000. No, divided by 4 into 250. Divide by 4 into 250. कितना आ रहा है? What 6.2? 6.2% return. 112% return. हाँ, लॉस भी हो सकता है. But then I would say, चलो you sold it at 10. 4 दिन में कितना ऊपर चले जाएगा यार SBI? कितना ऊपर जाएगा? You think it will go to 600? Do you think SBI will go to 600 within another 4 days? No way. चलो in a worst case scenario क्या होगा? 590 होगा. Then this put will be trading at 10 rupee, right? 10 रुपया में बेचा है, लॉस हो जाएगा. उतना ही तो लॉस होगा ना यार, उससे ज्यादा. I mean technically बोलने के लिए अनलिमिटेड लॉस है. When you sell an option, what do we write in the books? Unlimited loss. But then, technically speaking, do you think in this 4 days there could be an unlimited loss on SBI? SBI लाख रुपया चले जाएगा क्या? कितना जाएगा यार? 580 से 580 जाएगा. 600 चलेगा, बहुत किस्मत खराब रहा तो. See, if the stock price goes to 600, then the right to sell, right to sell at 580 will be worthless. And if it goes down, right, let's say it goes to 560, then the right to sell at 580 will be valuable, right? Now, so therefore what we say is, okay, when we study, we say that it's unlimited losses. Seller has got an unlimited losses. But theoretically, practically, there is a limit on how much. Even if you take any shares, yeah, you take HDFC share, okay? Some maybe 1,000 rupees price. So unlimited losses हो सकता है. So what do you think? HDFC 3 महीने में 6 लाख रुपया हो जाएगा क्या शेयर का प्राइस? नहीं होगा ना यार. There is a limit, and that limit is set by what? कि 3 महीने में ये शेयर कितना ऊपर जा सकता है, स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन, दैट्स सेट बाय स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन, कि भाई ऊपर नीचे इतना ही जा सकता है बॉस, इससे ज्यादा नहीं। अच्छा, नाउ सपोजिंग you estimated that let's say SBI share price is 570, it can go up to 600, it can go down to 540. now you'll say sir, ये स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन गलत भी तो हो सकता है। बिल्कुल हो सकता है, लेकिन कितना गलत हो सकता है यार। 570 का तुमने एस्टिमेट किया 600, ठीक है 610 हो जाएगा, 620, वो 800 हो गया, तो फिर वैसे भी तुम्हारा मार्केट में रहना कोई मतलब नहीं है, बिकॉज तुम टोटली रॉन्ग फोरकास्ट कर रहे हो यार। 700 रुपया का स्टॉक को तुम बोलते हो 610 तक जाएगा, तो योर एनीवे फोरकास्ट इज रॉन्ग, यू हैव नो बिजनेस टू बी इन द मार्केट। बट अदरवाइज इफ यू डू योर होमवर्क करेक्ट, हाउ मच रॉन्ग कैन यू गो? 610 के बदले 615 हो जाएगा, 620 हो जाएगा, दैट्स ऑल। सो दैट वे doing trades in options, if you have margins to back you up, is not very difficult. But the only problem is most of the people trading in options, they want to make quick money, और वो मार्केट छोड़ेगा नहीं। मार्केट विल नॉट अलाउ यू टू मेक क्विक मनी, राइट? सो विल सी, अभी आगे जैसे प्राइसिंग मॉडल्स करते जाएंगे ना, विल लर्न अ लॉट मोर ऑफ दिस। ओके, एनीवे, व्हाई वी डिस्कस दिस, इसका डेफिनेशन लिख लो। अमेरिकन ऑप्शन, an option that can be exercised on any date including and up to expiry date. European option, an option that can be exercised only on expiry date. India trades on European option. Sorry, ये इधर, अरे ये क्यों आ रहा है? Why is this coming? Just 1 minute. But ये क्यों आ रहा है? ये तो नॉर्मली आता नहीं है। आपने इसको करने के लिए किया, अरे एक मिनट ना, जस्ट 1 सेकंड। इसका अलग ना, I can't even recollect any. There are certain what we call as exotic options, okay, which would be traded as on American basis, but Varna regular basis pay. I can't recollect any advanced countries which uses this. Here's UK, US, Hong Kong, Singapore, so European Union. Everywhere it's mostly European. Okay, now let's look at this sum. Consider a 2-year American call option. Now, right now, for solving this, let us ignore this term. But later on, I'll tell you the relevance of this. Consider a 2-year call option with a strike price of 50 on a stock, the current market price of which is also 50. Assume that there are 2 time periods of 1 year, and in each year the stock price can move up or down. Now see, this is important. ये कितने साल का ऑप्शन है? The option is for 2 years. But this period of 2 years is not one block of 2 years. It comprises of 2 periods of 1 year each. Right? For example, I can also say that it's a 6-month option. Or I can say it's a 6-month option which consists of 2 periods of 3 months each. Right? Now, its relevance kya hai? It is like same thing. You can say, sir, CA final 3 साल का course है. I will say no, it is a 3-year course comprising of 1.5, 1.5, 2 periods, inter and final. Right? Now, फर्क क्या पड़ता है? तुम अगर बोलते हो 3 साल का कोर्स है, तो लोगों को ये इंप्रेशन आएगा कि 3 साल में एक एग्जाम पास करना और निकल जाना है. But जब तुम बोलते हो 3 years course comprising of 1.5, 1.5, so that gives you an impression that was 1.5 is one block, you have to clear that. Then 1.5 is another block, you have to clear that. It's 2 periods, right? So there is a difference between saying 2 years and 2 years comprising of 2 distinct periods of 1 year each. Now, यहाँ पे they are saying it's a 2-year call option. ये देखो, 2-year call option. Assume that there are 2 time periods of 1 year, and in each year the stock price can move up or down by equal percentage of 20%. In each year it can move by 20%. The risk-free interest rate is 6% using binomial risk neutral model. Calculate the value of the call and the probability of price moving up or down. Now, well, even if they had not given this risk neutral, you would have still calculated the probability. So this sentence is like kind of meaningless. Also draw a 2-step binomial tree showing prices and payoff at each. Now see this. What is the stock's current market price? 50. Now, it's a 2-year option, but it comprises of 2 periods of 1 year each. In the first year, what can be the price movement? It's 20%. So that means it can go to, right? And in the second year, again 20%, which means right? This can be the, now let's for brevity's sake, let us name these nodes at A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, and this call has got a strike price of how much? 50. Now understand, in a risk neutral model, what are the steps that we used to do? Calculate probability. And once you calculated probability, you found out the value of call on expiry and then discounted it, right? Okay. Now here also we'll have to do the same thing. We'll have to calculate the probability and we'll have to calculate the value of call on expiry. Now let's finish the value of call on expiry. See, what will be the value of call on expiry with a strike price of 50, but the market price is 72? What will be the value of that call on expiry? 22. If the market price is 48? These are the value of calls, right? And remember, after you determine, if you turn the previous page, value of call on expiry, if the market price goes up to so much, is something into the probability, right? और उसका जो आंसर आता था उसको हम डिस्काउंट करते थे. So यहाँ पे भी, this is my value of call on expiry. I'll have to multiply it with the probability and find the value of call. Now remember, we have to find the value of call here today. That means what I need to do is, now let me just scribble it. I'll have to take these value of call, multiply it with this probability, discount it and bring it here. But the only thing is, I can't do a one-shot discounting. Why? It's 2 periods, no? So I'll have to bring from step 3 to step 2, step 2 to step 1. दो discounting करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? अच्छा. Now, regarding probability, this question, and in fact, no question in the institute module tells you that the probabilities can change. Like in this case, the underlying assumption is that the probability of the stock price going up or down, if it's PUPD in the first year, then it's PUPD in the second year also. That means the probability of change is not changing. Matlab first year, if the probability of the stock price going up is 80, down is 20, then in the second year also the probability of the stock price going up is 80 and the down is 20. ठीक है? इंस्टीट्यूट में कोई ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जहां पे ये लोग बताते हैं कि बस प्रोबेबिलिटी भी चेंज होगा. But after solving this, I'll tell you how to handle that situation if at all it comes. What if the probability also changes? Okay, which means if the probability is not going to change, if I find this probability, then I can apply the same probability here also. Acha. Now recollect the binomial risk neutral model. To calculate the probability, what did you need? How did you calculate the probability? Current market price equals to present value of future probable value, and future probable values were these, and current market price was this, which means to calculate probability you needed 3 price points. 1, 2, 3. 3 price points chahiye aapko, which means if you look at this diagram, I can calculate the probability using 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. ये 3 पॉइंट में से मैं किसी को भी लेके मैं कर सकता हूं क्योंकि द अंडरलाइंग assumption is probability is going to be the same. ठीक है? Now the logical step is always to take the first step. ये वाला. That's the logical step. No, पहला वाला probability calculate करो. Now, can you take this diagram down and can you calculate the probability for me? रफ में कर लो, रफ में करना है तो. I'll show you the fact. 50-60-40 वाला है. हाँ, हाँ, 50-60-40. What is the rate? हाँ पॉइंट एक मिनट रुक जा मैं करता हूँ मेरे को ऐसे याद नहीं रहता है 1.06 अच्छा 60 तो 50 इंटू 1.06 minus 40 divided by 20.65 which means now what exactly are we going to do? We are going to first find the value of call at node B, value of call at node C, and then using these two, we'll find the value of call at node A. हमको एक्सपायरी वाला मालूम है, ये वाला मालूम है, इसमें से हम बी में निकालेंगे, सी में निकालेंगे और उसको फिर खींच के ए में लेके आएंगे. Now what will be the value of call at node B? See this. Value of call at node B. Node B मतलब ये क्या होगा? No, एक मिनट. Binomial risk neutral में how did you find the value of call? Value of call on expiry into probability और फिर उसको डिस्काउंट करके लेते थे ना, which means value of call at node B will be the present value 1 upon 1.06 into 22 into the probability 0.65 plus 0 into the probability 0.35. क्या नहीं हाँ बस वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल, हमको वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल निकालना है ना, तो वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल यहाँ पे ये है डी में, तो सी में कितना होगा, यहाँ पे कितना होगा और यहाँ पे कितना होगा. So that means this will be 22 into 0.65 plus 0 into 0.35. Please understand, this is no different from what we were doing earlier in binomial risk neutral. Only thing, binomial risk neutral mein we were writing it in the sentence form. Value of call, if the market price of stock goes to so much, this into the probability. If it goes to zero, down, zero, दोनों का sum total करते थे. This was the value of call on expiry. Therefore, value of call today, उसका present value. हम यही तो करते थे, ये रहा. Right? So, 22 into 0.65 divided by 1.06, 13.49. Sorry, 13.49. That is the value of call here. Now, what will be the value of call at this point? 0. Anyway, value of call at node C. I mean, just 1 into 1.06, 0 into 0.65, plus 0 into 0.35. 0. And what will be the value of call, therefore, at node A? Value of call at node A will be 1 upon 1.06 into 13.49 into 0.65 plus 0 into 0.35. एक मिनट रुको, ये डायग्राम देखो. 13.49 इधर कॉल का वैल्यू, इधर 0 का प्रेजेंट वैल्यू, और बेसिकली जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी 22 into 0.5 into 0.65 into 0.65, और उसको डिस्काउंट करना पड़ेगा 1 upon 1.06 and again 1 into 1 upon 0.6, क्योंकि 2 years discounting, right? So this would be into 0.65 divided by 1.06 is 8.27. बोलो कहाँ चाहिए? इधर. जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी करेंगे तो यार बिल्कुल आएगा. फाइनली हमने जॉइंट प्रोबेबिलिटी की है, मैंने खाली उसको 2 स्टेप में तोड़ा है. 22 into 0.65 into 0.65 into 1 upon 1.06 into 1 upon 1.06. But वो joint probability method I usually avoid, because what happens is I found in the past students tend to remember that 0.65 into 0.65 करना है 2 बार, but what students forget is that discounting 2 बार करना है, वो भूल जाते हैं. They just do 1 upon 1.06 discount कर दिया. इसलिए I don't use that step. I rather use the graphical step. यहां से यहां पे ले आओ और फिर यहां से वापस इसको यहां पे ले आओ, तो ऑटोमेटिकली तुम डिस्काउंट करोगे ही करोगे. Acha, now what is the relevance of? Acha, two things. First of all, what if the question stated that every year the probability of the stock going up or down also changes? For example, पहले साल कितना probability है? 0.65, 0.35. Now, just imagine a situation. In the first year, the stock goes down. Then in the next year, the probability of the stock going up 0.65, 0.35 may not sound rational. क्योंकि you will say, sir, market already down है. तो मतलब यहां से तो और डाउन जाने का चांसेस ज्यादा रहेगा, right? Which means it could so happen that 50 to 40, this is 60, ये 0.65, 0.35. But हो सकता है once it goes to 40, then the next year the probability will be, ये हो सकता है, right? In this sum, they have said it remains constant. But what if they change? It changes every year. Now see, first of all, now in this sum, what did we do? We calculated this probability by using these 3 points, right? And we applied the same probability everywhere. But if the probability changes, what you need to do is calculate the individual probabilities, this 0.65 and 0.35 using 1, 2, and 3. Then calculate the probability for 1, 2, and 3. Then calculate the probability for 1, 2, and 3. 3 point use करके तुमको probability मिल जाएगा. अच्छा. Now, once you have, now let me just take this all of this out. Now let us presume that you got 0.65, 0.35 here. And I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers. Supposing you got 0.25, 0.75 here and 0.15, 0.85 here. Understand? हम joint probability अगर use नहीं कर रहे, तुम मेरा diagrammatic form में अगर जाते हो, then it becomes very easy. This into this probability plus this into this probability discounted by 1 year. You get the value of this. You get some value here. This into this probability, this into this probability, 1 year discounting. और फिर ये जो value आएगा, इसको this into this probability discounted by 1 year, this into this probability discounted by 1 year. Then you don't need to remember किसको कौन सा क्या multiply करना. Just follow the diagram. ठीक है? अच्छा. अभी. Now let me just draw this diagram once again. 50, 60, आप लोग मत ड्रॉ करना. 50, 60, 40, and this was कितना था ये? 72, 48, 48, 32, right? And यहाँ पे the value of the call we determined was 13.49 and 0. Now, what we are going to discuss is about this point. This is an American option, which means it can be exercised anytime. Now, is option का, and this is a call option, right? And it has a strike price of 50. Now, when the market price was 60 in the first year, is this call in the money? That means technically, because this is an American option, this could have been exercised at that point in time. And if the buyer had exercised it at that point in time, how much profit would he have made? 10. Right? But if he holds it for 1 more year, whatever benefit he is going to get at the end of 1 year, uska present value is 13.49. Now you tell me, if you were in his position, will you exercise or will you decide to hold it for 1 year? 1 साल होल्ड करके जो बेनिफिट मिलने वाला है, उसका प्रेजेंट वैल्यू इज 13.49. एंड इफ यू एक्सरसाइज इट टुडे, 10 rupees. So will you exercise it today or will you hold it for 1 year? Hold it for 1 year. So therefore, what will be the value of the call at this point? 10 or 13.49? 13.49. Now we have taken that only. But had this figure been 20 somehow, and this was 13.49, would you exercise it or would you hold it? Which means this option, this would disappear. Right? And in that case, right, one value you got at 20 and the other value you got at 13.49. Then you would have solved this problem saying value of call at node B, at node A, yahan pe, node A. We have solved it taking 13.49, no? Had this been 20, you would have taken this value as 20. Iska matlab kya? Whenever you are solving the problem, and if it is an American option, you have to see, is the option in the money? If it's in the money and if I exercise it immediately, what is the profit I'm getting? And if I hold it for 1 more year, uska discounted value, what's the value? Whichever is greater will be the value of option at that node. Right? But this logic is not applicable for European option. Why? Because European option may, even if there was a profit of 20 rupees at this level, you can't exercise. You still will have to hold it. और ये 13.49 ही आपको करना पड़ेगा. Right? So if it, now understand, module does not give you this explanation. वो सीधा 13.49 लेके कर देता है. Okay? But किसी भी problem में अगर ये ज्यादा हो गया, then you'll have to do this comparison. Acha, this lafda never came here. 0. So there was no issue only. Right? It was out of the money. But if it's in the money, you will have to do this calculation. I'll give you a note for this. But if it's in the money, you will have to do this calculation. What if I exercise now? How much is the profit? What if I hold it for 1 year? Discount it. What is the profit? Whichever is greater is the value of that option at that node. Okay? Now, iska write a note. Note for node B. This was B, na? B. I'll just dictate it, keep writing. At node B, the option is in the money. And could have been exercised. However, within brackets, since this is an American option. Bracket close. Continue the sentence. Resulting in a profit of rupees 10. That is 60 minus, 60 minus 50. Full stop. However, the present value of profits, if the option was held for 1 more year, is 13.49. Full stop. Hence, it would be profitable to hold the futures, hold the options. It would be profitable to hold the option for a further period of 1 year. For a further period of 1 year, full stop. Therefore, the value of call, therefore, the value of call at node B will be the higher. Value of call at node B will be the higher of 10 or 13.49. Higher of 10 or 13.49. That is 13.49. Full stop. This logic is applicable only for American options. And not for European options. Right? Achha, if this sum was of a European option, then no need to compare when it is in the money. You keep calculating whatever value of call comes in, keep using it and keep doing it. You don't need to compare कि ये ज़्यादा है कि ये ज़्यादा है. Only for American option. Right? Okay. हाँ. अमेरिकन ऑप्शन तुम लैप्स नहीं करा सकते हो. लैप्स तो वो ड्यू डेट को ही होगा. सवाल ये है कि एक्सरसाइज करोगे कि नहीं. You can't lapse it. Right? And why would you lapse it? See, as a buyer of the option, if the option is out of the money, why would you lapse it? You would want to hold it saying, आज नहीं तो कल शायद ये in the money चले जाएगा. Lapse में तो you are closing out that option. The question is only exercise or not exercise, not whether to allow it to lapse. वो lapse तो due date पे ही होगा. Okay.
3 months के इसमें period of two
Meaning?
जैसे इसमें 2 years में जो period 3 months का ही होगा India.
हाँ.
Period
उसमें नहीं होगा. Which is why I said that, see, American options are generally used in case of what we call as exotic options. I'll teach you what exotic options are. Exotic options are structured options. Right? जहाँ पे options 2 साल 3 साल के लिए किए जाते हैं. But those are not frequently traded. Okay? उसी में American option use होता है. General इसमें it's always 3 months, 6 months. US and all trade on 6-month options. So वहाँ पे there is a possibility of 3 months movement. Okay, but India में you won't have 3 months का 1.5 month, 1.5 month. So generally ये सब sum जो आते हैं ना multi period 2 साल 3 साल के आएंगे. Okay.
अगर पर वो 13.49 मेरा जो उससे 10 से कम होता था.
हाँ, तो हम 10 लेते थे. क्योंकि एक साल होल्ड करके जो प्रॉफिट कमाऊंगा उसका प्रेजेंट वैल्यू 10 रुपया से नीचे आ रहा है, तो फिर मैं आज ही एक्सरसाइज करके 10 रुपया कमा लू ना. So the value of the call at that point will be 10. Right? और उस केस पे जब आप पे ऑफ बनाओगे, रिमेंबर this part of the table will not come into your calculation at all. Because आपका टेबल उधर ही रुक जाएगा. बी में ही रुक जाएगा, उसके आगे बढ़ेगा ही नहीं. Because you have decided no कि बी के आगे बढ़ना ही नहीं है मेरे को. Right? Okay. एक मिनट, ये 30, अच्छा 30 we had solved yesterday. हाँ बोलो। हाँ नहीं, वो बनाना पड़ेगा, बट वो बनाने के बाद वंस यू हैव डिसाइडेड दैट 10 ना, कि 10 मेरा वैल्यू है, तो उसके बाद कैलकुलेशंस के लिए वो पार्ट ऑफ द टेबल आपका रेलेवेंट ही नहीं है। Now see this. Sumana wanted to buy shares of, I don't know what is this, ELL or EIL, कुछ तो है, which has a range of 411 to 592 a month. The present share price per share is 421. मतलब 421, 592, 411. है ना? Her broker informs that the price of this share can soar up to 522 within a month. 522 तक जा सकता है, ठीक है, जा सकता है. So that she should buy a 1 month call of EIL. In order to be prudent in buying the call, the share price should be more than or at least 522, the assurance of which could not be given by her broker. Though she understands the uncertainty of the market, she wants to know the probability of attaining the share price of 592. ये जानना है उसको, है ना? बाकी सब is बकवास. This is what the problem is. She wants to know the probability of the stock price going to 592, so that buying a 1 month call of EIL at an execution price of 522 is justified. Again, everything else is hogwash. This is what you are required to find out. Take the risk-free interest rate to be 3.6 and e raised to 0.036 is 1.037. That means the rate of interest is continuously compounded. Okay. And what is it that you have to find? PU. You don't even have to solve the whole problem. Right? Binomial risk neutral का बस खाली PU तक आ जाओ. कैसे करोगे? Same. Let PU be the probability of the stock going this up, down. This is for what is the time period? 1 month. अब इधर 3.60 क्या लोगे? But look at this, now this is where I'm telling you that you can't blindly do any. ये इसका वैल्यू दे रहा है, तो ये जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है ये 1 महीने का है. नाउ अगर इफ दिस वाज गिवन एज 7% ना, then I would have definitely, irrespective of what is given here, I would have presumed it's per annum. क्योंकि 14% per annum इंडिया का इंटरेस्ट रेट नहीं है. Think of it, you're giving CA final. Even if they had given, say, 10% here, could you have presumed that 10% is the rate of interest for 1 month? You can't, right? Even if they had given e raised to 0.10 is so much, could you have presumed that 1 month का interest rate 10% है? No. But again, I don't know यहाँ पे ये लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं. ये इन लोगों ने तो for me ये एनुअली कितना हो जाएगा यार? हाँ 43, but 43.2 is still within my radar because India mein credit card companies charge you that much. Do you know that? India mein credit card companies charge you almost 42.5, 43% interest. Right? तो वो still फिर भी we can justify, although I mean मेरे लिए तो ये ridiculous लगता है, but what institute has done is institute has solved this by taking this for 1 month. Institute has done this, so be careful of this problem. Is 592 PU plus 411 1 minus PU. यहाँ पे आप अपने लिए कर लो rate of 3.60% per month seems to be on a very high side. But this is how the institute has solved. This would be how much? Point 14. Acha, this ends the official solution for this. But let us practice, no? Find the value of call. Everyone online, हाँ, ध्यान से सुनना. This ends the official solution. यहाँ पे official solution खत्म हो जाता है. But I'm just taking it one step further. Find the value of call. Strike price is 522. At execution price of 522. ये रहा इधर. हाँ? हाँ? पुट कॉल पैरिटी में डाल के पुट निकाल दो. यार विराज, ये हमेशा मेरे पास एक सवाल उठता है. जब भी आई टेल यू दैट इंस्टीट्यूट ये गलत किया है, ये नहीं हो सकता है, इमीडिएटली कोई पूछता है हमारे पास, सर हम एग्जाम में क्या करें. मेरे पास उसका जवाब नहीं है. मैं खाली ये बोल सकता हूं कि इंस्टीट्यूट का लॉजिक में क्या फ्लॉ है. आई मीन सी, थोड़ा तुमको नहीं दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा. वन इज 3.60% पर एनम, थोड़ा कम लगता है, पर मंथ थोड़ा ज्यादा लगता है. लेकिन क्वेश्चन में देखो वैल्यू किसका दिया है, e⁻0.036. तो इसका मतलब लॉजिकल प्रिजम्पशन है कि उन्होंने 1 महीना लेके सॉल्व किया होगा. तो आई मीन आप लोग सब ये नोट वोट मांगते हो. अंडरस्टैंड, दिस नोट वोट्स विल हैव नो वैलिडिटी. अच्छा, मैं विराज मित्र को और एक भी बोलता हूं. सपोज ये 3.60% पर एनम दिया होता और ये e⁻0.36 ही दिया होता, मतलब ये 1 महीने का वैल्यू दिया है, यहाँ पे पर एनम दिया है. अब तुम बोलोगे सर हम क्या करें, राइट? use, I mean, you say that since the rate is given per annum, हम calculate कर लेंगे E का value. I've taught you how to calculate E value, no? So calculate and find out. So there is no standard crocin or paracetamol that is available. तुमको देखना पड़ेगा बुखार के साथ खांसी है, जुलाब है, क्या है. अकॉर्डिंगली दवाई यूज करो. वैसे अगर कहीं पे पर एनम मेंशन नहीं किया है तो मेरा डिफॉल्ट एक्शन वुड बी टू टेक इट पर एनम. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, मैं रेट भी देखूंगा कि 14% दिया है बट पर एनम नहीं दिया है, तो उसको पर मंथ लूं कि पर एनम लूं. पर एनम 1% दिया है तो पर मंथ. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. यू विल हैव टू यूज अ लिटिल कॉमन सेंस, राइट? बट अगर 8% दिया है, क्या सोचोगे इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? क्या सोचोगे 8% पर एनम? सो इसीलिए बोल रहा हूं, वो इंटरेस्ट जनरली दिया जाता है तो हम पर एनम कंसिडर करते हैं, लेकिन कॉमन सेंस साथ साथ चलना पड़ेगा. ओके, कितना आया? 9. एक मिनट. PD equals to 0.86. Therefore, value of call with strike price 522 on expiry, if market price of share goes up to 592, it will be 70 into 0.14. कितना? 9.8. And if market price goes down to 411.0, 9.8 value of call on expiry. क्या चीज?
मतलब ये लिखना पड़ेगा.
क्या चीज? हाँ, बिल्कुल लिखना पड़ेगा. ये बाइनोमियल ट्री आपको बनाना पड़ेगा. इन ऑल द बाइनोमियल मॉडल्स you have to prepare that tree of this thing, and you have to write, you have to calculate the probabilities, you have to write this. इसीलिए मैं हर सम में ये लिख रहा हूं, so that आपको लिख लिख के वो प्रैक्टिस हो जाए. Therefore, value of call today. (9.8) into 1 upon e raised to 0.036.
पिछले साल ये किया वैसा किया तो चलेगा तो सीधा
कैसे?
डायरेक्टली प्रेजेंट वैल्यू इनटू प्रोबेबिलिटी पैरामीटर्स. पिछले साल ये किया वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल ऑफ
ये वाला ना? एक मिनट.
वैसा 29
29 नहीं, देखो 29 कर तो सकते हो. I'll show you. ये राइट, ये तभी हम यूज करते हैं जब मेरे पास मल्टीपल नोड्स हैं वैल्यू करने के लिए, राइट? लेकिन आपके पास है ही सिंगल नोड, तो हाउ विल यू जस्टिफाई द शॉर्टकट? See, it is like this. हम कई सारे सम में हम बैलेंस शीट बनाते हैं ना, जहां पे खाली दिया है द कंपनी हैज गॉट अ टोटल एसेट ऑफ सो मच एंड अ टोटल लायबिलिटी ऑफ सो मच, तो हम एसेट लायबिलिटी बना देते हैं. लेकिन वही कंसेप्ट अगर ट्रायल बैलेंस दिया है, हम बोले सर टोटल एसेट का कैलकुलेटर करते हैं, एसेट इतना, लायबिलिटी इतना, बैलेंसिंग फिगर, शेयर कैपिटल. यू कांट डू दैट. This is 9.8 divided by 1.037, 9.45. और अगर पुट निकालना है तो पुट प्लस स्टॉक इक्वल्स टू सॉरी कॉल प्लस पीवी ऑफ एक्स, पी प्लस स्टॉक कितना है 421, कॉल 9.45 प्लस 522 इंटू 1/1.037, so 5 कितना प्लस 5 सॉरी 1.037 1 डिवाइडेड बाय इंटू 522 प्लस 9.45 माइनस 421 91.83।
उसी फॉर्मेट में
बिल्कुल डाल सकते हो, मतलब ये वाला ना, हाँ बिल्कुल, तो थोड़ा अलग आएगा, वो राउंडिंग ऑफ का आएगा। कौन सा टू ले सकते हो, थ्री ले सकते हो,
सर पर मुझे एग्जाम में अगर तुम्हें एग्जैक्ट 4 डिजिट आ रहा है डेसिमल,
हाँ
तो उसको राउंड अप करके करना है कि
कुछ भी कर लो। आई एम टाइम एंड अगेन मैं बार बार बोलते रहता हूँ, तो पिछले लेक्चर मेरा कैपिटल बजटिंग का चल रहा था, उसमें 5 घंटे का लेक्चर में आई गेस अराउंड 2-2.5 घंटा तो बस यही राउंड ऑफ, सर ये कर सकते हैं, वो कर सकते हैं, फाइनल में राउंड ऑफ नो वन गिव्स अ डैम। बट हैविंग सेड दैट, थोड़ा थंब रूल्स, रिमेंबर फॉरेक्स में आई टॉट यू if it's a small number then 4 digit, right? वो जनरल गाइडलाइंस हैं, ऐसे नहीं है कि वो पत्थर पे लिखी है, जनरल गाइडलाइंस हैं कि कर लेना तो यू विल बी ऑन द सेफर साइड। सिमिलरली लाइक नॉर्मली आई डोंट नो, ऑप्शंस में मेरा आदत है 2 डिजिट से करता हूं और वो आंसर जनरली टैली भी होता ही रहता है। ओके, सो प्रोबेबिलिटी आई टेंड टू स्टिक टू 2 डिजिट्स, डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर आई टेंड टू स्टिक टू 4 डिजिट्स, राइट? फॉरेक्स वगैरह में यू हैव सीन व्हाट आई डू। ओके,
एग्जाम में
doesn't matter because final में they are all given to understand that there is going to be rounding offs happening. That instruction is always there for them. So आपका आंसर कभी भी एग्जैक्ट टैली नहीं होगा। अच्छा तुम 2 लिया, वो 4 लिया तो
मेजर वेरिएंस
यू डोंट नो ना। अच्छा आप 4 लिए, इंटर में तो 3 पढ़ाया जाता है ना डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर, पीवीआईएफ तो 3 पढ़ाया जाता है इंटर में, है? तुमने 4 लिया, ओके, वो 3 लेके किया तो, तुमने 2 लिया, वो 3 लेके किया तो, उसका कोई जवाब ही नहीं है। बट like I said, final में really no one cares. They just look at the final answer and they see whether it's in that range. Because every chapter we know has got rounding offs, right? Even valuation of shares, right? वो गॉर्डन मॉडल वगैरह में तुम्हारा 66.26 आया, उसका 66.25 आया, ठीक है? एंड यू आर रिक्वायर्ड टू वैल्यू द कॉर्पोरेट विच हैज गॉट 10 लाख इक्विटी शेयर्स। तो 10 lakh into 66.26 and 10 lakhs into 66.25, there is going to be a variation of 10,000 rupees, right? Those are all accepted, उससे कुछ नहीं होता है। और हमने ये चीज जो पेपर रीवैल्यू में होके आया है वो भी देख लिए, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। सो दिमाग से ये जो राउंडिंग ऑफ और नंबर ऑफ डेसिमल ना, उसका स्ट्रेस निकाल दो एंड कीप फॉलोइंग द गाइडलाइंस विच आई गेव यू, राइट? तो पीवीएफ 4 फॉरेक्स में जो करना है वैसा करते रहो। हाँ
कॉल 9.45 पुट 91.8,
हाँ बिल्कुल। व्हाट इज द स्ट्राइक प्राइस ऑफ द कॉल? 522. व्हाट इज द करंट मार्केट प्राइस? तो इज दिस कॉल इन द मनी आउट ऑफ द मनी? तेरे को तो पहले ये इन द मनी आउट ऑफ द मनी नहीं आया रे, तू क्या ऑप्शन सीखेगा? इन द मनी आउट ऑफ द मनी में इतना टाइम लगता है? राइट टू बाय एट 522, मार्केट प्राइस 475 और व्हाटएवर 421, इन द मनी है। You have a right to buy a flat at Virar for 50 crores. Is this right valuable or invaluable? I mean, valuable or worthless? Worthless. क्यों? तो right to buy at 522, market price of the share is 4, out of the money है ना, तो इसमें इंट्रिंसिक कुछ रहेगा नहीं, खाली स्टोरी कहानी का वैल्यू तो 9.21 9.45 और पुट इन द मनी है कि आउट ऑफ द मनी है? कितना है उसमें इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू? देखो विरार में फ्लैट बोलता हूं तो समझ लेता है, शेयर बोलता हूं तो नहीं समझ में आता है।
101
101 है तो इसका वैल्यू कितना होना चाहिए? 101 101 है क्या?
111
What is the current market price? 421, right? And the right to sell it as 522. 522 minus 421, 101. तो इस पुट का वैल्यू कितना होना चाहिए? अगर कोई ऑप्शन इन द मनी है तो उसका वैल्यू क्या होता है? इंट्रिंसिक प्लस टाइम। इसमें इंट्रिंसिक 101 है, प्लस टाइम होना चाहिए पुट का वैल्यू, लेकिन पुट का वैल्यू आ क्या रहा है? तो क्या बताता है ये? मिसप्राइसिंग है, मिसप्राइसिंग है। 91.83 जो प्राइस आ रहा है, दिस इज मिसप्राइस्ड एंड दिस इज अनदर फ्लॉ ऑफ बाइनोमियल रिस्क, बाइनोमियल मॉडल्स। ये कभी कभी ऐसा रिडिकुलस रिजल्ट फेंकेगा आपके ऊपर। ये एक्चुअली मैं दूसरा सम में दिखाने वाला था, बट सिंस यू हैव रेज्ड दिस इश्यू, नाउ सी दिस पुट प्राइस, हाउ डिड वी फाइंड आउट दिस पुट प्राइस राइट नाउ? Putting it in put call parity, but then how did we arrive, go to the put call parity by determining what? Price of call, right? तो अगर पुट का प्राइस में मिसप्राइसिंग हो रहा है तो ये किसका कसूर है? पुट कॉल पैरिटी का कसूर है कि वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल का कसूर है? और वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल हमने कौन सा मॉडल से यूज किया? ये मॉडल से। समटाइम्स दिस विल थ्रो दिस काइंड ऑफ रिडिकुलस रिजल्ट। इसका प्राइस एक्चुअली बहुत ज्यादा होना चाहिए, another 10 or 15 rupees more. That should have been the price. But sometimes binomial risk neutral model comes with a value which does not even cover the intrinsic. ये बाद में एक sum में आएगा where I'll explain this concept before we get into Black-Scholes. Right? Now, see, if you see this, now you would have realized that binomial riskless and risk neutral are nowhere near being perfect models. Right? Therefore, Black-Scholes. ठीक है? अच्छा, तू बता अभी। Call with a strike price of 70, market price 40. Is it in the money or out of the money? Put with a strike price of 120, market price 140. इतने में मार्केट मूव हो गया है। इतने में मार्केट मूव हो गया है। क्या है? Put with a strike price of 120, market price 140. Out of the money. Put with a strike price of 120, right to sell at 120, market price 140. Out of the money. Right to sell Virar flat at 5 lakhs. In the money or out of the money? Right to sell the Virar flat at 5 lakhs. In the money. 5 लाख में विरार में फ्लैट मिल जाएगा। अब भी मैं 10 फ्लैट ले लूंगा, अब भी।
वो किचन में है।
वो नहीं, फ्लैट बराबर फ्लैट 1 BHK भी नहीं मिलेगा 5 लाख। Right to sell it at 5 lakhs is what? In the money or out of the money? Out of the money. Right to buy Apple iPhone, the latest version, 20,000. In the money or out of the money? Out of the money. In the money. In the money. Right to buy SBI at 580, market price 600. In the money or out of the money? In the money. और fast होना चाहिए. Should be more fast. Otherwise, how will you start कि मैं इसमें ट्रेड करूंगा? हाफ अ सेकंड में तो प्राइस मूव हो जाता है, और हाफ सेकंड में तो आपको आधा मिनट से ज्यादा लग रहा है टू डिटरमाइन ये इन द मनी है आउट ऑफ द मनी है। Have to be a little more fast. Right to buy at this, ये होगा तो it will be out of the money or in the money. चलो, okay, question 32. And that is probably the reason you will find that chartered accountants who are into investment banking or trading They are of a different breed than the chartered accountants who are into practice. ये practice वाले, okay, हाँ हाँ, ये recording थोड़ा That's why तुम फॉरेन बैंक्स में ऑडिट करने जाओगे, फॉरेन बैंक्स का जो ट्रेडर्स होंगे ना, देखो उनको, वो लोग भी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, एंड कंपेयर देम विथ योर प्रिंसिपल, यू विल फाइंड द डिफरेंस, यू फाइंड द डिफरेंस, द वे दे बिहेव, बहुत एरोगेंट होते हैं, एंड दैट इज बिकॉज एरोगेंस इज आवर बर्थ राइट हियर, वी मेक डिसीजंस, हम डिसीजन कल परसों के लिए नहीं छोड़ते हैं, अभी करना पड़ता है हमको. चलो, X Limited share is currently trading at 220. It is expected that in 6 months' time, it could double or half. 1 year call option on X Limited has an exercise price of 165. Assuming the risk-free interest rate to be 20%, calculate the value of call option. एक minute. B and C, we will not even read right now. You have to find the value of call. Which model are you going to use? Risk neutral, because they've not given anything, right? But how do you know it is a binomial model and not a Black-Scholes model? वो प्राइस रेंज, दैट्स हाउ यू आइडेंटिफाई, बिकॉज बाद में आके कोई ना कोई पूछेगा, सर कैसे डिसाइड किया ये ब्लैक शोल्स है? ब्लैक शोल्स में वो प्राइस रेंज नहीं चाहिए, वो खाली बाइनोमियल में चाहिए. ओके, नाउ यू हैव टू फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल यूजिंग रिस्क न्यूट्रल मेथड. कैन यू फाइंड आउट? दूसरा क्या, ऑडिट में एवरी एक्शन डज नॉट हैव अ फाइनेंशियल रिएक्शन. तुम 10 वाउचर के बदले 8 वाउचर देख लिया, कुछ होने वाला है क्या? यहाँ पे एवरी ट्रेड हैज अ फाइनेंशियल इंप्लीकेशन, एवरी ट्रेड without exception. It's got a financial implication. So the stress levels are very high. मेरे को पीयूपीडी बताना. Online people, tell me the PUPD first. कितना है पीयूपीडी? 0.4, 0.6.
241.99.
ऑप्शन 1 ईयर का है, लेकिन बोलता है हर 6 महीने में वो डबल और हाफ होता है. दैट मीन्स दिस 1 ईयर इज नॉट अ यूनिफॉर्म पीरियड ऑफ 1 ईयर. It comprises of 2 periods of 6 months, and in each 6 months it can double or half. एक मिनट, अगर इसको नोड को वैल्यू करते हैं, नोड को नंबर करते हैं, ए बी सी डी ई एफ जी. नाउ let PU be the probability of, now remember I need to find the PUPD, so I'll use 3 price points, 1, 2, 3. Let the probability of stock price going up to 440 be PU, and PD be the probability of stock price going down to 110. Therefore, current market price is equals to present value of future probable values, 220 equals to 440 PU plus 110 into 1 minus PU into 1 upon 1.10. PU 0.4. So PU 0.4, PD 0.6. मेरे को कॉल वैल्यू लेना है ना, सो वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल विथ स्ट्राइक प्राइस. स्ट्राइक प्राइस कितना है? 165. 165 on expiry if market price of shares. अच्छा एक मिनट, अपने को वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल यहां निकालना है ना. सो इधर वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल विथ एक्स 165 कितना होगा? 880 माइनस 715 55 55 0. At node B, node B यहाँ पे it will be what? Present value 1 upon 1.10 into 715 into 0.4 plus 55 into 0.6. Bhai Ram, 715 into 0.4 plus 55 into 0.6 equals to divided by 1.1. 290. तो इधर का वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल 290 आया. अच्छा, फिर वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल एट नोड सी. 1 upon 1.10, 55 into 0.4 plus 0 into 0.6. Kitna? 20. So value of call here is 20. Therefore, value of call at node A one upon 1.10 into 290.4 20 290, no? 0.6. 290 into 0.4 plus 20 into 0.6 divided by 1.1. 116 point. और सॉल्व करने के बाद ना हल्का सा नजर घुमा लेना, ये कॉल का इतना इज सो हाई वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल जस्टिफाइड. व्हाट इज द कॉल स्ट्राइक प्राइस? 165. And what is the current market price of the stock?
220.
So it's in the money. That means this call is likely to be expensive. Because intrinsic plus time रहेगा ना, right? Okay. Okay, now this takes care of the first part. Then we are saying we are supposed you calculate the option delta for the second 6 month. मतलब ये इस पीरियड का second 6 months का. Okay, if the stock price rises to 440 or falls to 110. See, second 6 months में क्या क्या हो सकता है? 440 से वो 880 जा सकता है या 220, right? और second 6 months if the price falls down to 110, then this can go to 220 and this can go to 55. And they want us to calculate option delta for both of these. Now, what will be the option delta for second 6 months if price equals to 440, right? मैं खाली इसको ले आ रहा हूं. क्या होगा? इधर वैल्यू ऑफ कॉल कितना है? कितना था ये? 715. 715 और इधर 55. Therefore, option delta swing in options upon swing in stock. And swing in option will be 715 minus 55 upon 880 minus 220. One. सब ऐसे देख रहे हैं मेरे. वन ही आ रहा है ना? कितना आ रहा है? वन का मतलब क्या हुआ? How will you interpret this one? One stock, one call. AJ, right? Okay. Option delta if price equals to 110. Value of call will be 55, 0. Option delta (55 minus 0) upon 220 minus 55. 55 upon 165. 1 upon 3.33. And how will you interpret this 1 upon 3?
One stop 3 of.
1 stock, 3 calls. That means riskless portfolio कैसे खड़ा करोगे? Buy 1 stock, and to protect the portfolio, sell 3 calls. Binomial riskless. H. Right? Anyway, वो भी अभी आएगा ये समय. Okay. What's the third part of the question? It will be a second. Now, suppose in 6 months the share price is 110. So that means अब ये बोल रहा है कि बॉस ये सारा डायग्राम मारो गोली. बस ये है. ठीक है? In 6 months time the share price is 110. How at this point can we replicate portfolio of call options and risk-free lendings? See now, what do we mean by this? Replicate portfolio of call options and risk-free lending, which means they are asking, how will you create a portfolio using call options which will replicate risk-free lending? Now understand, what do we mean by this? Risk-free lending matlab kya? Risk-free lending means what? Sir, we lend to the government. We will lend it to the government. Now, supposing you lend 100 rupees to the government, risk-free rate. That means whether the market goes up or down, you will receive 110. Now, if I manage to create something using call where 100 rupees goes out. Now remember, in risk-free lending, what happened on day 1? Rupees went out or came in? Went out. 100 rupees went out, and after 1 year, 110 comes back, irrespective of what happens to the market. Now, suppose I'm able to do something using call where 100 rupees goes out, and whatever happens to the market, 110 comes back. Then can I not say that this portfolio is replicating a risk-free lending? Everyone online, have you understood what I'm saying? If I did a risk-free lending of 100 rupees to the government, that means on day 1, 100 rupees goes out of my house, and I lend it at 10%, that means at the end of year 1, I will get back 110 from the government. And this 110, I will get back irrespective of whether Nifty goes to wherever. Because this is risk-free lending. Now, if I am able to do something in stock market where 100 rupees goes out of my house on day 1, and whatever happens to the market, I receive back 110. That means, can I not tell that this portfolio which I have created in the share market is exactly replicating a risk-free lending? Right? Okay. Now, if you want to create a portfolio in share market, which should be risk-free lending, that means it has to be a hedged portfolio, because you can't achieve anything risk-free in the share market without hedging. क्यों? क्योंकि the basic characteristic of any instrument in stock market, risk. तो उसको रिस्क फ्री बनाने के लिए आपको उसमें से रिस्क बार खींचना ही पड़ेगा, तो हेज तो करना ही पड़ेगा. So you have to create a hedged portfolio which will replicate the risk-free lending. अच्छा, इसमें the key word is rupees 100 should go out. Because understand, you are trying to replicate a risk-free lending. अगर गवर्नमेंट को लेंड किए होते तो 100 रुपया घर से बाहर निकलता था ना डे 1 को. तो यहां पे भी कुछ ऐसा करना है कि 100 rupees goes out of my house on day 1. Right? Yes? Now, tell me, what will you all do? Online? I need to devise a strategy whereby money goes out of my house into the stock market. So what should I do? Buy stocks. Great. Bhakti, now Bhakti says buy stocks. Obviously, buy stocks. But then remember, this has to replicate a risk-free lending. That means I have to hedge that stock now. Sell call. But now the question comes, how much stock and sir, how much call? I've got the delta now. Using this delta, I'll create that portfolio and let us see how it replicates a risk-free lending. See this. C, to replicate a risk-free lending, we need to suno, somewhere later down, we will also find a question where we need to replicate a risk-free borrowing. Then what will you do? Sell stock. Market से आपको पैसा उधारी घर पे आना है. Right? To replicate a risk-free lending, we need to buy stock and sell call. Since option delta is 0.33, we buy one stock and sell 3 calls. Now let us see what happens. Abhi likhna mat, just keep following what I'm doing. Inflow, outflow. Okay. Day 1. So what did you say you'll do? Buy one stock. Right? So that will result in inflow or outflow? Of how much? 110. Remember, you are creating a hedge here. No, this one. Right? At 110, stock goes out. Right? And you're going to do what? 3 calls. So if you sell 3 calls, what will happen? Inflow or outflow? Inflow. Inflow of how much? What is the value of the call at node C? 20. right? So what is happening on day one? Net inflow or net outflow? Day 180 लिख लेते हैं इसको, day 180, right? कितने का? 50. अच्छा, फिर ये day 180 है, ठीक है? Now day 360 को market price could be 220 or 55. Okay, so market price now ये कॉल का स्ट्राइक प्राइस क्या था?
165.
अब हमको रिवर्स करना है सब. सो मैं पहले क्या करूं? सेल स्टॉक, ठीक है? नाउ इनफ्लो होगा कितने का? हाँ, 55. अच्छा, डी कॉल सोल्ड, एक मिनट, इफ एक्सरसाइज्ड squared off, that is now purchased, resulting in outflow of, acha, you have sold a call with a strike price of 165, market price 220. Will that call be exercised or not? तो square off होगा. That means it will be purchased. Purchased at what price? 220 minus 165, 55. Sorry, 55 into 3. Outflow. And here it will lapse. So that means net inflow on day 360. Huh? एक मिनट. Day 1 को how much money went out of your home? 50. And day 365, how much money is coming back? 55? 55. And this 55, whether the market goes up or whether it goes down, you're getting 55. What is the rate of return you have earned? 10% for 6 months. That means per annum. So is it not replicating the risk-free rate of 20%? मार्केट नीचे गया कि ऊपर गया, आपको 20% का रिटर्न मिल रहा है ना, राइट? एक मिनट रुको. Therefore, net inflow 5, returns percentage 5 upon 50 into 100 into 12 by 6. That's 20%. And same 20%. Therefore, the above portfolio risk-free lending. But ये देखने में अच्छा लगता है. Can you tell me what will be the profit if price is 250? देखो तो एक मिनट, मैं ये आपको लिखना नहीं है. This you don't have to write. 250. And will this be exercised?
Yes.
Yes. So exercised, how much profit will you make? 85 into 3,
255.
255. You see, now it's not coming to 20. Now it's not coming to 20. Right? Acha, what if the price was 100? Middle. This is 100 and this would be laps. So 100. Is your profit coming to 20 now? 20%? That means ये जो दिखने में इतना अच्छा लग रहा है रिस्क फ्री लेंडिंग रेप्लिकेट किया, दिस विल वर्क ओनली एट मार्केट प्राइसेस ऑफ 220 and 55. But in reality, do you think the market will ever be so precise that या तो 220 जाएगा या 55 जाएगा? ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. मतलब ये किताबी बातें हैं कि हम if you do this, you will replicate a risk free lending. It will never happen in real life. So these kind of models are never used in real life. Anyway, ये रहा. अच्छा, यहाँ पे मेरे पास जगह नहीं था तो मैंने, if you want you can write one more line here.
ये डेट की डेट और एक्सपायर होता है.
हाँ, because अभी second part of the problem में क्या बोल रहा है देखो ना. Now suppose in 6 months time the share price is 110. That means you are now standing at this part of the diagram. तो यहाँ से तो बस यही है. हम्म. हाँ, क्या एसी किधर है? रिमोट किधर है? This is net inflow. देखो, add what is the forecast I had made just now? SBI 580 call. Put, right? 10 रुपया पे एसेट बिंदास सेल कर सकते हो, 7 रुपीज 5 पैसा, 1,500 का लॉट है, 4,500 तो अभी तक बन गया होता, मार्केट खुल के 5 मिनट हो गया आज का टारगेट. All you need to have is a little bit of common sense and understanding of things like, standard deviation कितना हो सकता है, कितना स्टॉक जंप कर सकता है ऊपर, इतना जा सकता है क्या एक दिन में. That's all you need to know. It's only common sense. ये पी बुक रेशियो ये सब साइड पे रखो बस, ये सब कोई काम का नहीं है. अभी जैसे ये 10 में बेचना है तो मैं क्या लेके बैठा है क्या है? पी, बुक वैल्यू, ईपीएस, गॉर्डन्स मॉडल है, वो टेक्निकल चार्ट, वो सब देखा क्या? कुछ नहीं. 10 लगता है क्या एसबीआई इतना जाएगा? नहीं जाएगा, ठोको उसको, मिल गया पैसा, 3 रुपया हो गया ना, बहुत हो गया. अभी आई मीन चाहे मैं चाहूं और वेट करूं ना, ये और 2 रुपया अब भी चले जाएगा. अभी लेक्चर खत्म होते होते और शायद 1 रुपया तो चले ही जाएगा, ये और वेट कर सकता हूँ. बट नहीं, बहुत हो गया यार, 4 मिनट में 3,500-4,000 मिलता है, और क्या चाहिए, और कितना ROI मांगोगे. चलो, नाउ लेट अस लुक एट, अच्छा इस पे आई विल गिव यू होमवर्क टुडे. और क्वेश्चन 33 बाद में देखते हैं, 34 देखते हैं. बीच में देर आर 1-2 क्वेश्चन पेंडिंग में, मुझे याद है. A stock currently trades at a price of 100, right? The stock price can go up by 10% or down 15%. Risk-free rate is 6.5. Use a 1-period binomial model to calculate the price of a call option with an exercise price of 90. Okay? Baki B and C we will see, but first you solve A and find the value of call. $34. ये देखो 7.35, 7.40. अच्छा, जब मैं बात कर रहा था तभी 7.05 था, अभी 2 मिनट पहले 7.70. स्टॉक भी इतना जल्दी मूव नहीं करता. Stock would have moved hardly by 5 paisa. But remember yesterday what did I tell you, the impact of the beta and this, उसमें एक छोटा सा मूवमेंट, वो स्टॉक 5 पैसे से मूव करेगा, ये 25-30 पैसे से हिलना चालू कर देगा ये. Which is why trading in options is much more exciting than trading in stocks. Because stocks में ना 1 रुपया मूवमेंट के लिए you have to wait 1 full day. Whereas options, I have seen options trading at 500 go to 100 within 3 minutes. 500 से 100.
स्टॉक भी फास्ट
नहीं, स्टॉक उतना मूव नहीं होता है. स्टॉक 20-30 रुपया से मूव हुआ रहेगा. पर तुम बोलोगे सर 500 से 100 तो लॉस हो गया ना. बट सोचो someone would have sold at 500, वो तो 2 मिनट में 400 रुपया कमा के निकल गया. 9 बहुत लोग ट्रेड करते हैं यार बहुत लोग ट्रेड करते हैं बहुत लोग ट्रेड करते हैं इनफैक्ट ये पुट का ना आज का अगर प्राइस मूवमेंट देखें हम एक मिनट, यार ये टैबलेट में ना ये मार्केट डेप्थ कोड एक मिनट यार ये टैबलेट में ये जनता ही नहीं है कैसे ये क्या होता है साला इसमें इसमें डर ये लगता है कहीं साला स्क्रॉल करते समय गलत चीज पे बटन दब गया ना टैब भी बिक जाएगा मैं भी बिक जाऊंगा इसलिए बहुत डर डर लगता है इसको इसमें स्क्रॉल वोल करने में हाँ अरे कंफर्मेशन देता है लेकिन वो स्क्रॉल करते समय वो कंफर्मेशन में भी ओके क्लिक होते हुए निकल गया तो ये देख अभी जैसा यहाँ पे प्लेस बाय ऑर्डर दिया और मार्केट है वो तो फट से डाल देगा लिमिट होगा तो कंफर्मेशन मांगेगा मार्केट में रहा तो वो ऐसे ही ले लेगा इसमें देखो एवरेज वॉल्यूम देखो कितना हो रहा है और अभी तो मार्केट खुले 10 मिनट ही नहीं हुए 6,42,000 का तो वॉल्यूम हो गया हाँ नहीं ये पुट ऑप्शन है इतना नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स हाँ लॉट यहाँ पे पता नहीं है क्या है यार ये मूव नहीं हो रहा मेरे को डर लगता है वो भी आई नहीं नहीं देयर इज अ लिस्ट कितना आया क्या हुआ कितना है
17.15.
And 6.5 minus 85 divided by 25.86. Strike price कितना है? 90. Mm. 117.2. $16.15. हो गया? Done? अच्छा, that takes care of first part. Now, suppose the call price is currently 17.5. अच्छा, ये जो 16.15 you have found out, what is that? No, ये 16.15 is what? Is it the actual price of the call or is it the theoretical value of call as per you? Theoretical value as per you. आपके हिसाब से कॉल का वैल्यू इतना होना चाहिए. आप मार्केट का स्क्रीन खोल के देखते हो and you find that the call is trading at 17.5. What is your conclusion? Is the call underpriced or overpriced? Overpriced. Okay. As a trader, what will you do? Sell as a trader. But if you're not a trader, if you are a arbitrager, what will you do? Sell what? Sell what at 17.5? Call. Okay. Sell call at. See, that decision is not going to change because call is overpriced. Period. वो तो बेचना ही है. Trader हुआ, तो I'll just sell it and keep quiet. Right? But if I'm an arbitrager, I will sell the call. Then what do I do? So I'll buy a stock and sell the call. Okay. So the next action is you're going to call up the broker. Buy stock, sell call. Kitna? Hedge ratio, option delta. You will calculate the option delta, right? Okay, now look at this. Suppose the call price is currently at 17.5. Show how to execute an arbitrage transaction that will earn more than the risk-free rate. In the earlier problem, we took the value of call at what? That value of call at node C, remember 20. Now that 20 was the theoretical value of call or actual value of call? Theoretical. So now if everything were as per theoretical, then we saw that we will earn only the risk-free rate, right? But if prices are not as per theoretical, then there is a potential either to earn more or earn less, right? Now here they are saying, suppose the call price is 17.5, show how to execute an arbitrage transaction that will earn more than the risk-free rate. Use 10,000 call options. फिर आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा ना कि 10,000 कॉल से हमको करना है, तो शेयर्स कितना खरीदना पड़ेगा, right? Okay, चलो, I'll hold your hands for some distance and then I'll tell you, you'll have to solve. 2, if call is trading at 17.5, it is overpriced and arbitrage profits can be made by selling call and buying stock. Okay. Since arbitrage is to be executed on 10,000 calls, to find the number of shares to be sold, to be purchased, we need to ascertain option delta as under. बताओ ऑप्शन डेल्टा कितना होगा? हाँ देखा, see that you realize it. चलो बताओ नहीं कुछ नहीं करो you come across that mistake. Sorry. Bye. 100, 110, 85. Value of call with strike price कितना? 90. So this can be 20, 0. You know? Therefore, option delta (20 minus 0 upon 110 minus 20 upon 25), 4 by 5.8. Now 4 by 5 means 4 stocks, 5 calls. That means for 4 stock purchased, we sell 5 calls. Therefore, for 10,000 calls, shares. अभी आप मुझे बताओ कि ये करने से रिस्क फ्री रिटर्न से ज्यादा आप कैसे कमा लोगे? यही प्रूफ करने बोला है ना बॉस। एग्जीक्यूट एन आर्बिट्राज दैट विल अर्न मोर देन द रिस्क फ्री। रफ में do it in rough and try to explain it to me, including online people. How will you execute an arbitrage that will earn you more than the risk-free rate? Yes, sir. Give me a minute, I'll be back. See, what are you going to do? You are going to start तो ऐसे ही करोगे, inflow outflow. And you're going to do what? A sell call, sell 10,000 calls. So if you sell 10,000 calls, what will be your inflow? 1 lakh? 1,75,000 inflow, and simultaneously you're going to buy 8,000 stocks at, what is the stock price? 100. Eight lakhs, resulting in a net outflow on day one. ₹6,25,000. Then एक मिनट, फिर एक्सपायरी के दिन क्या होगा? मार्केट प्राइस कैन आइदर बी 110 or 85. C. Call sold if exercised, squared off, that is now purchased, resulting in outflow of call का strike price क्या था? 90. So the market price is 110, the call will be exercised, resulting in an outflow of 20 into 10,000, 2 lakhs ka outflow, and this is lapse. And then sell stock. Now sell stock will be 8,80,000 inflow, and यहाँ पे it will be 6 lakh, 6,80,000. Which means net inflow on expiry $680, right? On day one आपने मार्केट में कितना पैसा लगाया? 6,25,000. And on expiry, how much money are you getting back? So what is the ROI that you have generated? Less outflow on day one, $625, returns 55. Therefore, ROI कितना आया? Into
8.80.
you have generated return of 8.8, which is more than the risk-free rate. पिछले sum में, in the earlier sum, we were earning exactly the risk-free rate. Why? Because the price was as per the theoretical price. That means if the actual price matches the theoretical price, then there is no arbitrage. But if it doesn't, then something is wrong somewhere. यहाँ पे देखो, it's not. So you are earning more, which is more than the risk-free rate of कितना था? Sorry, how much was the risk-free rate?
6.9.
6.5. अच्छा, now C का बताओ तो क्या करोगे? I mean, after you done this. Online, what are you going to do for C? Huh? Buy call, sell stop. Okay. Do it and show me what you will achieve.
Get sell. Then buy करेंगे ना advertise.
So buy call and sell stop. Okay. And by doing that, what are you going to achieve? Show me. Like इसमें तो आपने बता दिया कि sir we have earned more than the risk free. उधर बताओ तो क्या करोगे? एक मिनट, फेयर में ही करो ना.
हाँ वही.
फेयर में अभी तुमको ये तो प्रेजेंटेशन मालूम है ना. इफ द स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर, if the call is trading at 14, it is underpriced.
वही रहेगा.
हाँ, डेल्टा वही रहेगा. I mean, you can write it like this. If the call is trading at 14, it is underpriced and arbitrage profits can be made by buying call and selling stock. Then you don't need to calculate the option delta, since option delta is already known as 0.8. We buy 100 calls and sell 80 stocks. अभी बनाओ वो टेबल और बताओ क्या हो रहा है. एक साल है क्या? पीरियड नहीं दिया ना, तो डे 360 मान लेते हैं। ये क्या हो रहा है अभी? क्या लॉस है ये? इज दिस अ लॉस देन? नहीं
नहीं करेगा उसको भी
नहीं, ये लॉस हो रहा है क्या? Inflow 6,600, outflow 6,800.
यहाँ पे लोन
हाँ ये
यहाँ पे 83 का लोन
एक मिनट. In the earlier one, right? On day one, what was happening? Outflow or inflow? Outflow. Outflow into from your home into the stock market. That means you were lending money to the stock market, right? And how much were you getting back? That means you are effectively lending money at more than the risk-free rate. Okay. Here on day one, what is happening? That means you are borrowing from the market, right? And you are repaying the market how much? 6,800 after 1 year. So what is the rate of interest that you have paid to the market? What is the rate at which you have borrowed the money? 3.03. And what is the risk-free rate? What will you do? What have you done here? Actually, तुमने क्या किया इधर? What is the kaminapanti that you have done here? Understand. There are two kinds of arbitrage, right? Either you lend money to the stock market and make more than the risk-free rate, or reverse, take money from the stock market, right, at less than risk-free rate. Right? Acha, now in the earlier example, what is the return you are generating by lending money to the market?
8.8.
You could have borrowed money at the risk-free rate. So you could have borrowed at 6.5.
6.5.
एक मिनट, ये बैटरी लो क्यों कर रहा है? Just 1 minute. Is this not connected to what? So basically, in the earlier example, you could have made arbitrage by. एक मिनट यार, ये मेरा क्या है? Oh, just 1 minute. There is. और कोई यहाँ पे ये है क्या? Laptop will shut down. Lose है. हाँ ठीक है. You could have borrowed money at risk-free, lent at whatever rate you earned there, and here you are doing the reverse. Extract money from the market at a lower rate and invest it in risk-free. Again, you'll make risk-free arbitrage profit, no? Right? So here, net inflow on day one. $6,600. It implies that we have borrowed 6,600 on day one and repaid 6,800 on day 365, implying a borrowing cost of 200 rupees upon 6,600 into 100, that is kitna percent? 3.03%. And this borrowing when we deployed in risk-free investments generating a return of कितना 6.5 ना 6.5% resulting in arbitrage gain of 6.5 minus 3.03%, that is कितना भी आता है, कितना आता है 3.47
SLB का भी माइनस होगा।
इसमें से ब्रोकरेज भी माइनस होगा और भी बहुत सारे होंगे, एसटीटी होंगे, टर्नओवर चार्जेस होगा, डिपॉजिटरी चार्जेस प्लस ये सब करने के बाद then you will see what is your net profit. Now एक मिनट, एक सम आप लोग होमवर्क के लिए लिख लो 120 160 110, ठीक है, आप इसमें निकालोगे पीयू पीडी and strike price is 125, R 8%, T 4 months, and you will set up a risk-free arbitrage using 3000 calls. मैंने तो डेल्टा वेल्टा कैलकुलेट नहीं किया, रफ रैंडम फिगर बिठाया है, तो अगर नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स आपका डेसिमल्स में आ रहा है तो राउंड फिगर लेना, मतलब इफ यू गेट 333.25 टेक 3333 व्हाटएवर, जो भी है राउंड में लेना, डेसिमल्स मत लेना। चलो anyone online want me to scroll up or down? चलो फिर आज के लिए